All right, so moving on to the next segment, we're going to switch things over from the NBA side over to the NFL side of things, heating up with free agency getting underway today. So moving on to the next segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the current Lamar Jackson situation that is going on in the NFL as we speak today. So we saw last week, about 6 days ago, since I'm recording this on a Monday night, we saw Tuesday afternoon last week that the Baltimore Ravens franchise tagged their franchise quarterback Lamar Jackson to a non-exclusive tag. Lamar Jackson is currently under this tag. If he stays under this tag for the next full season, which would only last 1 year, he is set to make $32.4 million next season. Now, if you guys don't know out there, the difference between a franchise tag and a non-exclusive tag is a non-exclusive tag allows teams to make a deal with the player, and the franchise has a chance to match the offer. Say if Lamar Jackson were to negotiate with a team like the Atlanta Falcons, if the Atlanta Falcons come with a deal, the Baltimore Ravens have a chance to match it. But if the deal is not matched, Lamar Jackson, if he were to be traded to another team, the team acquiring him would at least have to give up 2 first-round picks. Lamar Jackson's value has definitely declined over the last 6 days and counting. The asking price for a lot of franchises are really scaring them away from Lamar Jackson. He wants a similar contract to what Deshaun Watson got around this time last year from the Cleveland Browns, $230 million guaranteed. He wants a contract like that, a contract not too far away from that, or even more guaranteed money than what Deshaun Watson got. We have seen Lamar Jackson express his frustration in contract talks because he believes he's more valuable than guys like a Kyler Murray, a Deshaun Watson, even a Russell Wilson, and disappointed his particular career. He believes he's more valuable than these guys, and he believes he should get a similar contract or something even better than those guys. But pump the brakes here. I just want to acknowledge that the Cleveland Browns officially broke the quarterback market for the forsake of the future. It is horrendous right now. It is disgusting. It's gonna get to the point where a quarterback's gonna want to make 75 to 100 million a year because of how the quarterback market is broken, because the Cleveland Browns were so desperate to move off of Baker Mayfield a year ago and get Deshaun Watson, and they gave him 230 million guaranteed. Especially with his legal situation, it was a tricky situation, but the Browns officially broke the quarterback market, and that is why we're in this predicament right now for Lamar Jackson's sake. We've seen several teams have removed themselves from the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes because of these reasons, because of his demanding price. We have seen the Atlanta Falcons back away from the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. They're willing to go out and ride it out with Desmond Ridder, maybe as their quarterback next year, or find an option in the draft. We had the Carolina Panthers who are officially out on Lamar Jackson because they have acquired the #1 overall pick. I'll get to that by the end of the episode. The Miami Dolphins have expressed that they are out on Lamar Jackson as well. They have expressed that Tua Tagovailoa will be the franchise quarterback heading into next year. And they just picked up Mike White, which is an insurance policy just in case Tua's health is a problem next year. The Miami Dolphins are out on him. Plus, they won't have much cap space to play with since they traded for Jalen Ramsey yesterday. His contract is going to be a problem. So the Dolphins are officially out on Lamar Jackson. The Commanders are out on Lamar Jackson. This is just shocking to me. And let's just break down these situations. Because Lamar Jackson deserves to be on one of these rosters. How in the hell are the Atlanta Falcons okay with riding it out with Desmond Ridder as their franchise quarterback when you know you want Lamar Jackson in Atlanta? You could treat him like the next Michael Vick. You could treat him even more than what you gave Michael Vick in Atlanta. You can have your franchise guy. You can have your cake and eat it too in Atlanta, because they were all in on Deshaun Watson last year and just came this shy of getting Deshaun Watson before the Cleveland Browns got him. So don't give me that BS that you're okay with riding out with Desmond Ridder next year as your franchise quarterback, or even going out there and drafting Will Levis as your franchise quarterback next year. I'm not buying it. Carolina Panthers. I can't wait. They're just out. They're just out on Lamar Jackson. But the Miami Dolphins. Are you mean to tell me that you really are sold and set on Tua Tagovailoa at this point in his career? As many times you've been flirting with the idea of getting a Deshaun Watson. of getting a Tom Brady. Somehow, some way, they've been flirting with the idea of having their own franchise quarterback that's not named Tua Tagovailoa for the last 2 years. And you mean to tell me that quarterback is the only reason why they didn't go on a deep playoff run this year? They had the Bills on the ropes with a third string quarterback out there in the playoffs. If you have Lamar Jackson on the roster, you beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills at home, and you can do more damage in the playoffs with that roster. The Washington Commanders, I'm so glad they're a part of the NFC East, because there is no way in hell that Ron Rivera, somebody that's fighting for his coaching dignity at this point in his NFL coaching career, has been battle tested with the Washington Commanders, riding out with Taylor Heineke, Carson Wentz at the quarterback position since he's gotten there. You have a fresh chance, a fresh start to finally go out and get a franchise quarterback and bring Lamar Jackson to the nation's capital and have him play in D.C., not too far away from Baltimore, and you're willing to go out there and ride it out with Sam Howell? Sam Howell? Over getting Lamar Jackson? See, that's the problem with the Commanders. That's why they've been a sorry franchise for so long. But all these teams I just named should be flocking for the opportunity to sign Lamar Jackson. Whether you got to give up a first rounder, 2 first rounders, and a player, you should be willing to ride it out, because every team I just named is just a quarterback away from being a top threat, a top team in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson is only 26 years old. He was a unanimous MVP in the 2019 season. It seems so long ago, but any team I just named should be flocking for the opportunity to get Lamar Jackson, your franchise quarterback. He can ascend a franchise and bring him to the next level for the next 5 to 6 years. Now, Lamar Jackson does have a history of missing games late in the season. We've seen it in the last 2 Decembers. Lamar Jackson was missing at the end of 2021 season. They were 8-3 at the time. The Baltimore Ravens finished the season 8-9, losing the last 6 games in a row, missed the playoffs in 2021. 2022, this past season, Lamar Jackson got hurt in December. The Baltimore Ravens only won 1 game, and that was beating the Atlanta Falcons on Christmas Eve. And they were just a possession away from beating the Cincinnati Bengals on the road in the playoffs. Lamar, it's just a tricky situation, because I can understand both sides. I do believe Lamar Jackson should be paid high as anybody in the NFL. I do think at the same time the Ravens are being smart about this, because Lamar Jackson has missed time when it matters most, in crunch time situations, when Super Bowl aspirations are at stake. So Lamar Jackson having his mother as his agent is also a downfall and a bad mistake for him, because we don't know the conversations that him and his mother are having. We don't know how the business relationship is between the two. The contract, I've seen the reports that Lamar Jackson could have got a pretty significant contract to stay with the Baltimore Ravens, so they would have had some money to play around to get pieces around him, but he believes he's worth much more. Is that because he doesn't have a real agent? Is that because his mom is calling the shots at his agent and he's not getting a fair shake, a fair deal at a good contract? We don't know. But right now, if Lamar Jackson is not, free agency is underway. The new season starts on Wednesday, but we're seeing free agency underway. Teams are making moves. Teams are signing players. Teams are making trades. Teams are making moves, but Lamar Jackson still has not gotten a phone call. And to me, it just seems like every team is currently out on Lamar Jackson. I don't see any 31 out of 32 teams making a move for Lamar Jackson. I don't see, the Raiders are out on him now. They just got Jimmy Garoppolo. The New York Jets was the only team I could think of. They're all in on Aaron Rodgers. Who is there for Lamar Jackson to go to? There's nobody right now. For him to just go back to the Baltimore Ravens, if he goes back to the Baltimore Ravens, what happens next? What happens next? Because you're back at square one. They don't got to give you nothing for a whole year. You're under a tag, a non-exclusive tag, and nobody wants you. You got to go back to the Baltimore Ravens. And I think that relationship is still on divorce mode. We even got Marlon Humphrey tweeting right now. Adam Schefter, we don't want no news about nobody signing out. We just want news about Lamar Jackson. If Marlon Humphrey, a cornerstone of the Baltimore Ravens franchise, does not know what's going on with this situation, Nobody knows what's going on. And it's going to be, if he goes back to the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between the now and the NFL draft. But it has to be a disappointment for Lamar Jackson, who thought he was going to secure a bag this NFL offseason. Now, have it. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of time. I'm still sticking with the prediction that he will be traded by the NFL draft or draft night. It's going to be interesting, but it's just it's just such a weird situation to me that 31 out of 32 teams right now are not making a phone call to Lamar Jackson, acquire a unanimous MVP from the 2019 season that's 26 years old that can ascend your franchise for the next 5 to 6 years. To me, if you don't have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, or Jalen Hurts right now, and Justin Herbert, you should be on the phone trying to acquire Lamar Jackson. And nobody's doing it. This situation is going to be very interesting from now all the way to the NFL draft and maybe even beyond.